everybody. I took a little break while I was at the beach, as you can see, but we're back with the videos again. Today I want to talk about how average people have ruined my life. Now, this might be a little bit of an overstatement, as it's my own actions that have led me down this path, but going from high school to college, I kind of took a major shift in how I pursued my academics. All throughout high school, I was super academic, always studied as much as I could, never really socialized too much. I obviously played sports and whatnot, so I had connections through that. But I was salutatorian of my senior class in high school, so it was safe to say I cared a good bit about my grades, always had A's. I don't even think I had a single B in high school. So a whole bunch of my identity was wrapped up in the fact that I would study a lot, I would do really good in tests and get good grades. But something kind of happened at the end of high school that kind of was a reckoning for me, and it came when it was time to apply for colleges. I applied to 2 or 3 colleges, I believe. 2 of them were places I actually really wanted to go, and the other one was a backup plan, kind of just a safe bet, didn't know I'd get into somewhere. And it turns out I did not get into either of the colleges I wanted. The only college I got into, or was accepted to, was the one I hadn't really planned on going to, and it was kind of just a backup plan. At the time this happened, I was pretty crushed. Like, my whole livelihood for the past 4 years had revolved around being the best at academics, and then I couldn't even get into, the colleges I wanted to. I felt pretty betrayed by all the time and effort I'd put into making sure I got the best grades, always skipping any kind of social function, always focusing on homework and what I need to do for the next test coming up. And all that time and effort over the past 4 years ended up being for nothing. So going into college, I kind of had to reframe my whole mindset around academics and grades and whatnot as a part of my identity. When something like that happens, it kind of shakes the foundation of who you are. So it kind of makes you rethink about other things in your life and where you're allocating your time and energy. So when I started getting into college, and everything's coming out with AI and ChatGPT and all these other ways to cheat or get around doing all the hard work you had to put in to get the college grades you needed. Previously in high school, I would have just said no to all that and just put in the hard work and time to actually learn and care about the things I'm putting my effort towards. But after being shown that it might all just end up being for nothing, I ended up kind of taking the average route of not really learning anything and just going for the grade, but not actually there to be learning. And safe to say that was a pretty slippery slope that led into some not so great habits in the rest of my life. I feel like I used to hold myself to pretty high standards and expect more for myself. Then once I got to that part in college where I'm just going to do the bare minimum I need to get past, I feel like I've lowered my standards to the standards that everyone else has set around and for me, not what I actually want to set the standards for in myself. I've never really had an extraordinary role model of any sort in my life, so coming to the realization now that I'm looking at all these people who I kind of want to be like, who are super successful. None of them have done things the way I'm doing them, the way average people do them. So it's been kind of hard coming to the realization, as, I'm coming from a pretty small town. So everybody kind of just ends up doing whatever their parents tell them or whatever is generally accepted in that small town. There wasn't a whole lot of people for me to look up to who were doing things out of the ordinary or doing stuff that really stood out from the rest of the actions people were taking around them. And so this mindset of just doing enough to get by has really crippled me, honestly, in my pursuit of trying to grow as a person and get to where I want to be in life. I'm still too stuck up on what other people think of what I'm doing and not actually what I think of what I'm doing. I catch myself slipping and not holding myself to very high standards as I used to. And I'll say I'll do something and I don't do it, and I kind of lose a little bit of self-respect for myself. I feel like that's something that's been building up, is that I've definitely lost some self-respect for myself, which I'm trying to gain and grow back. This might be pretty relatable to some people, as I know a lot of people go through hard things and your ego doesn't like to see you regress. The human nature just wants you to progress infinitely. And as people, you're not able to do that. It's an impossible condition to meet. It's okay to take a step back sometimes and regress. And it's not technically regressing. You're just taking some steps that you need to take in order to grow as a person in this next phase of your life, which is something I've had to come to. You can't just infinitely push forward like you're some kind of machine, because you will break down one day and you won't be able to fix some of the damage that's been done. So sometimes it's better just to take a step back and reevaluate your framework of why you're doing what you're doing. Because some people go their whole lives just going by what everyone has taught them and told them their whole life, where they grew up, without ever taking a step outside their own little world and thinking about other perspectives and other things. that is one of the best benefits I do think college contributed to me, is that you get to see so many different people's experiences and perspectives while you're there. As someone who is from a small town, everyone pretty much kind of had the same opinions and same viewpoints on things. So going to college really helped me expand my horizons, and I felt like it helped me grow as a person. You get to see more, and you get to see more of what's possible in the world when you see all these other people doing things and having big ideas instead of just small town ideas. So as they say, nature versus nurture, I'm definitely having to overcome my nurture versus my nature, because I was nurtured in a way that does not think very big. It thinks very small and wants you to just be normal and do what the average person does. But something inside me is just not going to be satisfied with that. I've already gone through that, and I've felt what it's like, and that's just not what I see for myself in the future. Ultimately, it becomes down to whatever makes you happy in this short life that we've been given. I think if someone's happy with being quote-unquote average or doing what everyone else does, they should definitely go for that. I've just personally not found fulfillment in that kind of thing, and I'm just striving to find that kind of fulfillment in my life. So, appreciate y'all listening. Leave a like and a sub. I'll see y'all later.